Hello everyone, it's Jena here, and today I've got a new layout to share for Bramble Fox. I am playing with some of the new products that have just landed in the shop, and I've made a very Halloweeny layout today, which is quite unusual for me, but I absolutely love how this turned out. And to be honest, I think it sort of kick-started a little bit of love for Halloween and seasonal scrapping. So I hope this is the first of many. I've started today with this Cutfile. This is one, I believe, from Paige Evans. It's a pie chart circle design. I will just double check the name of that, and I'll leave the name and the reference to that in my description box below for anyone who's interested. And I did something quite unusual for me. I cut it out of black cardstock. Normally I'm all about white cardstock, white backgrounds. I just love white. But because this was sort of a very Halloweeny layout, I decided that I would do something slightly different and just cut it out in black. And then I backed it with some orange, green and purple polka dot papers. So I've backed the cut file, I've trimmed it, not quite in half, but I've got a bigger section that I'm situating to the left hand side of my page, and then the offcut I'm popping on the right hand side of my page. You saw at the start of the video that I have used one of the new die sets in this layout. You can see that I've got the piece that's behind my photo, which I'm going to use, and I've also got a spare piece just on my desk there. I don't actually know the number of these dies. I can't quite find them on the website at the moment, but I would imagine they're probably dies number 14 or 15. And I will try and link those in the description box if they are uploaded to the website before this video goes live. So I've also used a piece from the paper snips. These paper snips are number 12. They are all about Halloween. They've got some really cute icons on, and I've just cut out one of the tab pieces which says Spooktacular. And then I'm also using one of the new stencils. So I'm using stencil number 49 to create these really cool paint splatters. It's got a lovely sort of brick effect at the top, and then it's got this paint splatter piece, and then it's also got a few paint smears as well. So super versatile, and I really love how these green splats look on this page. I didn't know if it would be sort of like a hit or miss, but I'm really loving it. So I add, I think, 3 splats to the left hand side and then 1 to the right hand side, so it looks like they're just kind of like on the page poking out from behind my cut file. And I'm just using a Distress Oxide ink in the shade Bundled Sage for this. You might also be able to see on my desk I've got a couple of leaves just near my photo that are also they've also been created using a Bramble Fox stencil. I had these left over from a previous project, so I decided to use these instead of let them go to waste. And they were created again in that same Bundled Sage Distress Oxide ink, and that was using stencil number 39 as well. So I've added some foam squares to my cut file, and I've adhered that to my white cardstock background. And I'm just going to back my photo with some orange patterned cardstock. My photo is about 3 by 4 inches, and I figured it sat quite nicely on top of the cut file. It does take a little bit away, so you can't see it all entirely, but it still leaves enough of the cut file so that you can see that I've put quite a bit of effort into backing that. So one of the perspectives that I'm using today is from the Stacked Pumpkin set. You actually get 3 sort of perspectives in this pack. You get these stacked pumpkins with the hat on top. You get a cat, which I also use on the project today. You might just be able to see it at the top right hand side of my desk. And there's also another pumpkin that comes in the pack, which has got a cat popping out the top of it, but I don't use that today. So I'm just going to spend a moment adhering some of my pumpkin die cuts and my stenciled leaves in place. And I've also got a few autumnal stickers that I'm having a look through, and I pull one out which is an orange arrow that says fall. There are also a few other stenciled leaves that I add to this project, so I add a few more up by that fall sticker, and then I also make a small cluster by my stacked pumpkins. So a moment ago I adhered my stacked pumpkins perspective to some white cardstock, just using some glossy accents. I quite like backing sort of translucent perspectives to some cardstock, just because I don't like it when I can see sort of different colours behind my perspectives where they're not completely opaque. So I just adhered that to some scrap white cardstock and cut that out. So I'm just going to adhere those little leafy bits down with some more foam squares and get those secured. And then in a moment, I think I start building up this right hand side cluster. So I've got my stacked pumpkins. I've also got some fussy cut pumpkin die cut things. And then I've also got a few more leaves that I add into that as well. And again, I'm going to do the same thing by just propping those up with some foam squares. And you can see now that I've brought the cat in. That's sat to the bottom right hand side of my photo. And I thought this would look quite cool just because it brings in a little bit more black and it adds to that sort of spooky effect. And I think I used some glossy accents and a few foam pads to get that cat secured as well. Whilst I'm working on this little cluster, I think I just add some double-sided tape to the back of my stacked pumpkin perspectives, just because I'm not completely sure how high or low I want that to sit. One of the last things I do is just add my title, which will be Pumpkin Picking, and I'm using these really small purple alphas. I do actually end up moving it slightly further down, just so it's set on complete white. And then I think I also add in a couple of sequins off camera as well. It's one of those where you think it's done, but it's not. And you sort of look at it for a while and try and think, what can I do? There's something missing. And for me, I thought that was the sequins. Thank you so much for watching today. I will leave links to everything I've used in today's project in my description box for you to check out. If you have got any questions or anything like that, please do leave them below. I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, thank you again for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.